To the only one, part 2. Great, she didn't even show up as agreed. Sent an email with apologies. She is confused, shaken, doesn't know where her mind is and what to do, needs to get herself together before she talks to the son whom she loves and doesn't want to hurt more. Guys, I don't know for sure if Saab has a wife, or whatever, kids or anyone else. Don't know how to find her and if there is a benefit in doing that. I'm sure we'll find out soon. It's obvious my STBXW sees a future in them together, I mean with Saab. I need no child support, FTB or anything else. I have claimed FTB last financial year and he is under my name for health care rebate and private medical insurance. But again, if she is entitled to money, so be it. I don't care. The divorce reaction. The short version is, I'm not going to mention what has been said between me and my son and his reaction. I want to keep him out of this. I have asked her not to accompany me to the airport as I don't like her company at the moment. She agreed. On my way home I told him there are issues. We are separating, so he demanded explanation straight after we arrived home. She started to give a PG+ version. We are having issues, need to spend time apart, we both love you. I couldn't hold it and just said the truth is your mom has another man in her life and is moving out to stay with her parents. He locked himself in his room. STBXW got extremely upset, blamed me for bad-mouthing her and soon packed and left. 1. Done. Paper copies fade over time. 2. I do not. We were never that close anyway. 3. I can understand them. We have been seen as a model couple. Time will tell if they are real friends. On a serious note, assuming it was a compliment, I'm not doing great at all. Have never experienced these emotions and fighting urges to call her and ask to come home many times per day. I just cannot allow my family to see me defeated. She showed up yesterday and was shaken by my son's reaction. Thinks she's got 5 years older look instantly. She has also admitted that she did not expect me to proceed with formal steps so quickly. We have discussed some of it. Asked if she can stay in the spare bedroom as she has early start today. I admit I was so tempted to agree, but after reading some stories here and rereading some of the messages, managed to suggest that we, especially the son, need to start getting used to the new arrangement ASAP, so she left. The weird thing was that her mother was constantly texting her and calling her all the time. Is she worried about her, supporting her, or thinks I'll do something stupid? Now, on her staying. I worded this poorly. She did not want or offer to stay with me, discuss issues, give me some needed why answers or anything like that. She just said that she is facing a long drive to her parents, not really that long, she has an early start next day, that she misses the home and time with family, that this is one night only and she will be sleeping in a spare bedroom. She somehow managed to make it look like it is I who is demanding for her to use the spare bedroom. Weird. I confess I was so tempted to say yes and had to remind myself about my favorite quotes from their messaging. Now I regret I didn't ask her how would your current boyfriend react to the fact you spent a night under the same roof with me. In any case, she looked totally shocked by the rejection. Complained I'm showing her the door. Spent approx. 15 minutes sitting still in her car before driving away. She is now, or at least can be, with most sensual man she's ever met. Go figure. She is very close with her mother and used to be influenced by her in our early years. She used to have at least 2 to 3 phone calls per week with her normally. Checked phone records and it was her mother, but whatever. I know the Saab name, phone number, place of work, etc. all obtained from legal, public sources. I just don't know his relationship status, apart from affair with my STBXW. He is doing okay but not well off, definitely not much better than me. But I don't see any gold-digging potential on either side. My STBXW won't be better off financially with him, unless he's suddenly got an inheritance, and her income alone is modest. He has not had a steady career, tried many things based on LinkedIn and ended up as the salesperson, account manager for a 5 to 6 man business, nor does he seem to have a degree. So, workplace exposure is out of question. I don't know how and when they met for the first time. There was a message from him that he regrets all these years they have missed, but this can be interpreted either way. I'm not yet sold on exposure to his partner, even when or if I find her. There are pictures of him with the women on social media, that's it, no info. I don't have an FB account. I did process and appreciate your guidance on the matter and no saying no to the concept, just not now. We'll try to find any info on her, but we'll pick this card up my sleeve until legal matters are sorted, until she gets pissed anyway, whichever comes first. So does my second lawyer say. It wasn't a dirty affair because she loved the OM. Is there a double like button? This is word for word what she was writing to the Saab, that she regrets hurting me and son, and rushing into the new relationship, but at the end of days it's the right thing to do because we, STBXW and Saab, share a true love and deep emotional bonds. It will work out for all of us. Son, his life as he knew it from day one does not exist anymore. He's not upset with me that much though. We had a huge mobile network outage yesterday. STBXW was at home at that time as per the arrangement. Only we didn't know it's global outage. So, she has been left without a phone or mobile network for the night. Actually, it was somehow funny, because this was always my duty to keep everything functioning, including comms, and obviously, I was not in the mood to offer help. Was she trying to call OM or her mother? Don't know, but she didn't want to use landline. To call OM, mother-in-law, and with our provider, if you don't know exactly what to say, you'll spend hours listening to the music and useless info. She asked my son for help. He's tech-savvy. He suggested to check who can fix it faster, me or the boyfriend. She didn't like it. At the end, she admitted that now when she's living alone at her parents' granny flat, she realizes how much of that stuff she didn't have to deal with. Wonder when she's going to move in with Saab now. Until today, all her communications with me were cordial and friendly. She was trying hard, I think, to maintain an image of responsive and caring adults separating amicable. She was also periodically calling and texting me asking about our son, but also about my day, checking on her after work visits. Her mo was also the same when she was visiting after work. Today I sent her an email with the proposed parenting plan and invitation to discuss it on Thursday, so that I can try to progress it straight after Easter. As I mentioned, there was nothing there that we haven't had discussed before. The slowdown on bit is still there, although softened down a bit. Don't get me wrong, I value the advice and am trying to follow it, but I can't bear a thought of him meeting my son. I won't ever be able to forgive myself if I stay passive. Okay, back to the point. After I sent that email out, I've got only a short and I'd say dry response from her. Literally, okay. Also, I won't be visiting tonight or tomorrow, and that was it. So, I think I'm about to face some anger and resentment. Whatever the reason is, I've followed up with a discussion with my son last night trying to take into account the advice I've received. He is not adult, teens, however, despite some obvious outbursts appropriate for his age, word hate has been used. I'm pleasantly surprised with his attitude and approach. To summarize, he loves his mother and will always be her son and will always be there for her. This does not extend to the OM if my STBXW is going to be together with him. OM, he will be polite, but that's it. He will. I have advised to do it when the time comes, not now. Ask his mother to minimize his contact with OM as he does not feel comfortable live under the same roof with an adult stranger. He wants this arrangement to stay until he turns 18. If at any time until the OM makes any attempt to be more than a mom's boyfriend to him, he will call child protection and claim unwanted male contact. Once again, I have advised him not to have this discussion now, but clearly expressed how proud I am and how much I respect his adult-like attitude. We'll see how the parenting discussion on Thursday goes. Earlier, shortly, if not the same day, after I have exposed to select family and friends, she called me in anger. There is an older lady who is her close friend, more like a godmother, although I like her a lot as well. Were invited to her upcoming anniversary. Apparently, she canceled via SMS the same day I exposed. So STBXW called me in an attempt to find out if I have been uninvited as well, and accusing me of ruining this for all and being exactly that sort of cold and unemotional person she realized I am. STBXW called that lady when she's received an SMS and ended up telling her about her new boyfriend, but did not get full support and approval of pursuing her happiness she was probably expecting. The funny thing is I did not really inform that lady, but STBXW was unwilling to hear and believe that. Well, we all got an email a couple of days later from the old lady. The anniversary is canceled as one of her close relatives ended up in the hospital, and the prognosis is not very good. She sent SMS to my STBXW just because her was playing a major part in the preparation and setting the event, so the lady wanted to let her know earlier. So, my STBXW basically busted herself. Update. Before I get to be facts, I have been trying to stick to the facts and leave my emotions out of my thread. I do not think I feel any different from any other betrayed husband, not happy Jen. And sharing them is out of character for me. Today I'm going to post a snapshot of them, purely to explain my state of mind and why relatively mundane details of my last interaction with STBXW did affect me more than expected. Those who know me well could confirm that I can go hard yards if I know I'm doing the right thing. This was the case for me until Thursday. I was sad, angry and whatever, but I knew I'm following the only path possible for a man whose wife fell deeply in love with someone else. Separation and divorce were hard and regrettable but natural. So, I didn't mind taking the initiative as I knew I couldn't change her mind to start loving me back and fall back in love with me. Not going to work when she ended up with another man after all these great years together. At least I didn't have spent days guessing if she's cheated, yes, and if she wants no. I was confident, however Thursday did break my confidence, so I'm posting here an attempt to get it back. Now the facts. I could not recognize her when she arrived and I have not seen her for just a couple of days. She is looking 10 years older. I know this is a very common thing for BH to write, but trust me on this one, I am accurate here. She used to get compliments that she looks 10 years younger her age. Now her age seems too caught up in this and not liking healthy. My son was looking forward to seeing her. She missed couple of days as I mentioned. However, when he learned that we will be going though parenting and financial issues, he expressed his preference to stay out of it and told me he'll hang out with his friend until we are done. I expected an outburst from STBXW when I told her that, and she has been shaken badly, I could tell, but she only managed to say, "Guess I have deserved this," which was so not like her, needless to say. We then proceeded with the plans and documents, and she was agreeing with everything without any feedback or opinion, in that sort of monotonous, almost robotic voice. I have had to ask her repeatedly if she is okay and if she is willing to postpone the discussion. "Let's get this done and I deserve this" were the only answers I got. She then decided not to wait for the son. I messaged him to come home, and left. 15 minutes later I have spotted her still sitting in her car. I went to check on her and she was crying heavily as she's done the other day. It was clear it's unsafe for her to drive, so I offered her a cab. She asked me if I'd be willing to give her a lift. I responded that it does not seem like a good idea, so I can call her a cab and drop her car later. She responded with, "I ruined everything, have I?" Then she turned the engine on, pulled down the window and asked me, "May I ask you for the last favor? Can we please talk like we used to last time someday next week?" And drove off. I wanted to ask her what's going on and if she's having second thoughts so badly, but couldn't do it at that moment. My 3 questions are: what's going on with her? Am I still doing the right thing? Should I have that talk? My refusal to drive her home is a bigger deal than it sounds. We used to drive together all the time, and when we did, my left hand was always off the wheel, holding her hand, source of constant jokes and teasing. She called my son 2 times. Nothing significant. I told him she left because she was too upset. His question was, "So if this causes so much pain, why is you two keep doing this?" I'm constantly reading the crawling back thread. The legal part is going okay. She's agreed to everything. The separation is in place and well documented. I'm getting ready for a lot of setbacks now when the sorrow phase is over. I'm not going to contact her parents. They are the only ones who have not contacted me since the separation. I have no clue how they met and would really like to know, despite that I don't grant need to. If she tells me this voluntarily, I may consider this as remorseful. I sent out an email to her this morning agreeing to meet tonight. To be more specific, she messaged me thanking for yesterday, what the hell, and asking to have the talk again. I asked does she still and really want it, imagining talking her out of it. But the response was yes, 1,000 times yes. So, I sent an email agreeing to meet. As a background, my mother-in-law, I obviously don't consider her MIL at all, but we'll use the acronym for simplicity, is a very influential person, matriarch of the family, my way or highway type. Wealthy family, strict upbringing, you know. Her personal life and marriage, answering one of the questions, has the same style, rock solid, but there's no doubts who always has a final say. She has always been somewhat cold towards me. The root cause, I believe, was simply that I was not her choice, and my wife, then girlfriend, did not seek any formal approval of our relationship. So, in the beginning, mother-in-law had concerns that we are moving together way too early, that she, my wife, needs to establish her career first, etc. When we got serious, after high school, I decided to postpone going to the uni, not only to get the work experience, but also to spare us from the relationship supported by parents. You know what I mean, 2 students with no money. So, I got a full-time job in the field of my preference, not McDonald's or grocery chain, rented an apartment, etc. This was the right move, not only from our relationship point of view, but also for my career. I had a good job straight after I graduated. This infuriated her, and I guess made her think I'm some sort of a loser. In her mind, it always been private school, university, job in law, medicine, or finances, and perhaps made her jealous. At that point in time, mother-in-law tried to introduce the sob to her daughter, as was a son of her close friend and was ticking all the boxes above. I now remember him after being reminded, again this was 20 plus years ago, being at some family events, my wife's side, for no apparent reason. Obviously I didn't pay any attention at that time. My wife was not interested and Saab dropped off the radar soon. Interestingly enough, he dropped of the university as well, and there was some sort of issue of paying out fees, but apparently this did not change my mother-in-law's view of him. He tried different jobs, property, finances, startups, ended up as a salesman, has been working in UK for a while and surfaced back here. MIL managed to convince my STBXW to meet him, and this year, I did not get any plausible reason why she agreed to meet him apart from my interpretation, just being bored with the marriage, and it all went downhill. She admitted he was so romantic, poetical, emotional, and vulnerable, whatever the hell it means. A small detail, hope it is not TMI, that burned me inside. She told me she was feeling awful after it went physical, but the sob was so emotional about that she has been overwhelmed and pushed her own feelings aside. I confess I chickened out and did not ask what the $$CK does that mean, in fear of hearing the details. Now about not committing. I don't know ATM if they broke up or not, but this is what I know. After the fallout of the marriage and separation, she turned to her father and mother to support, but received cold shoulder from her mother, so my MIL style. Apparently, whatever happens is for the better, and as I'm not fighting to keep my STBXW, I am exactly that sort of wrong choice. She's been warning her. She has to be always right after all. She then turned to Saab, who apparently went underground. When she, STBXW, basically confronted him, he gave her some BS story, along the following lines. According to him, the dynamics of relationship between men and women changes over time. Like in the past, a premarital bonding was a big no-no, normal these days. So according to STBXW, he just told her he represents a more advanced phase where this sort of relationship with married woman is a norm, and he never intended for her to end her marriage over that. It is up to you whether you are going to believe this or not, but that is what I've been told. I need time to process all of this, and this is nor the whole contents of the discussion. At the moment, I haven't made any conclusions. May I please make it clear on the board statement? This was my and only mine interpretation or attempted explanation on why, after initially meeting him, after being convinced my MIL, she didn't do what a happily married woman would have done, basically shrugging done, ignoring his advances. She never used word bored herself now, at least. I have no other reason, can't say we are incompatible after all these years, and I kind of wish I was some sort of loser abusing fat lazy husband we could have been, unfortunately, I have not. Or she just plain and simply fell in love and didn't know right from wrong. Update: am I still a glass half full person? I hope I am, or will return to that state eventually. However, I'm happy to be the one only when no one pisses in that glass. After that, it goes straight to the garbage bin, not even a dishwasher. Why, all of a sudden, did she have an urge to talk to me? She made it very clear she has no one else ATM. Her parents, you got, I hope, a picture of her mother by now, and her father, nice bloke, is angry like never before. My parents, who loved my STBXW like their own daughter, cliche but true, she can't reach out to them after what she's done. Friends, they all assume we are or will be working things out, except the few who think our marriage is kaput. So, I'm the one who remains, and I have to admit she has merits in approaching me for support, as I have always been a fixer and perhaps a bit of what you called KISA. What did she do it, and has she broken up with the sob? She said she felt in love, which I believe, and that she doesn't love him anymore. I'm skeptical. She said basically that she acted like stupid cow taking emotional empathy for love at her age, and she can see the sob doesn't have a spine. I was tempted to, but avoided making comments about other body parts he apparently has. According to her, she stopped any contact with him and is trying to move out of her parents to stop contact with mother-in-law. Subtle hint for me to invite her back to our house. That she never stopped loving me. Nice way of showing that. I told her I doubt she whispered I love you OP to his ear in the heat of moment, and had to fetch her a glass of water as she was sobbing so hard. I got scared I'll have to call ambulance. Yes, he is a player. Good on him. I'll catch up on that. Do I plan B? Yes, at least at the moment. Does she want us to R? Don't know. The only thing she said is that she realizes she has burned all the bridges, and I'm not a person who would ever forget what she has done, so I'd love to, but there is no point. I ruined everything. She knows by now that is the only battle you, means I, will not be willing to fight. Perhaps she is right. Will I ever take her back? I honestly don't know. I want her so badly at times. I'd say yes if I would be responsible for some identified issues in our life together that I could own myself. Unfortunately, and I mean it, I can find nothing of that scale, believe me or not, and if she'd start behaving like a remorseful WW. So far, I had no choice at all. I was simply following the only course of action available to me. And it's been hard even knowing that I don't really have a choice. I miss her and can barely stand her tears. If the tries an attempt to R which will look more or less decent, you will see different me. And that's where I will really need you all, so please keep this palette of 2x4 ready and don't bother with sanding them. 1. She never blamed me and keeps repeating this is all on her. She claimed that when delivering the not in love speech, she was not criticizing the emotional part of me, just stating that the emotional connection with Sob was stronger. And now she wants to take even that back. At the same time, she didn't go to family and friends saying either I cheated on H, my fault, or H is cold-blooded bastard. We are done. The story was we were moving on. Point goes to STBWX, I assume. 2. A lot of apologies for not handling this is in a right way when in love with Sob. Admission that no apology can be adequate or helpful now. No point. 3. Some remorse and a lot of regret. No action, in form of being proactive and offer, for the rest. Point goes to divorce. She seems to be moving on, nevertheless. 4. They seem to break up. Again, she hates him but not being proactive and showing this to me. And C, etc. Actually looks like he dumped her. Point goes to divorce. She seems to be moving on, nevertheless. 5. As above. 3 and 4. No commitment. Point goes to divorce. At the moment, divorce wins 3-1. I may reassess the situation if the above changes. It is possible she's too worn and beaten down and doesn't have stamina to try to swim upstream as it has been suggested before, but for now I'll keep doing what I've been doing. I'm tempted to extend a helping hand. But not now. I've decided she needs to make the first move at the very least. Have nothing to add or comment on his post. All true, and I will follow. There is a danger that by being passive in terms of R I may be denying us an R, but under the circumstances the chances of false R, or straight thanks but no thanks response, are far greater, and I can't afford 1 step forward 2 steps back situation. When it comes to her dating me and competing for me in the future, don't think that is going to happen. Don't think she's that much into me these days. She's smart, good looking, or will be good looking again soon, fit, educated and fun, has a good job, not such a great remuneration, but her parents will help. She will have no problems picking up another guy. Way easier than fighting for me and dealing with all the issues of R, especially with no benefit of marriage and an unknown outcome. I'm already a plan B, there is no doubt about it. She was in love with Saab and he, plan A, dumped her. So, if she does come back, big if, I'll be the plan B no matter what. I'm not sure if a woman, sorry I'm looking at it from my point of view, can honestly do love H to love Saab to love H, and if she does, is there any way to prove it? The other thing is, consequences. Let's say she wants R, manages to convince me I'm not plan B anymore, does all the checklist. Sorry, she already gave away something that was so unique to me, a sin cannot be restored or reversed, like a car that left the dealership. So now she's stepped out of the marriage, enjoyed the other bloke and just walked back in. Same house, same husband, same family. I get it, she may be working like hell for R, so will I understand if I was abusive and lazy, she wasn't fit and bad cook. Now we are in R, I'm loving and work non-stop, she is in model shape and cooks like a chef. The marriage is shattered but balanced. But in my case, what will she bring to the table apart from being a good wife as she used to be for all these years? Does she get a Coke and get the melted ice? I agree with rewriting history. I'm no angel, but I spent hours thinking, perhaps irrationally, about any real problems in the marriage. Not like when I've booked a restaurant table to surprise her. She cooked my favorite the same evening to surprise me, so I could justify R, couldn't come up with too many. Actually, all these years we were teasing each other about everything. The only subject she never liked is that she's unhappy with marriage. I don't have anything outstanding for an update, but this Saturday, Sunday morning here, I guess was some sort of turning point for me. A trusted third party got involved, someone really close to both of us, and informed me that my STBXW had a medical problem caused by stress. I'm not posting any details sufficient to say her relatives got worried the way she was behaving and started digging. As a net result, she had to seek medical attention. At the same time, said it was my day with son. He always wanted to try kite surfing, so that had been arranged. So, when I got a call said morning about STBXW, I literally started to get the gear out of the car so I can go and visit her. With all soap opera-like pictures in my mind. I changed my mind, called the third party, confirmed STBXW is okay now, grabbed the kid and we spent a day on the bay kite surfing. Loved it, will be buying my own, and jet skiing. It looks shallow and mundane, but this was so not like good old me. I hope I'm starting to detach. Mother-in-law, I do believe she did not want my STBXW to have an affair and to ruin her marriage. I know for sure, however, her intent was not so noble as your father's. Based on what I read, he was really trying to save you. But I'm in no position to comment, of course. I'm certain she just wanted her daughter to admit that she, mother-in-law, was right all along, and that was it. Perhaps for me to get the message, via STBXW, and to try harder to be her puppet. Or even perhaps to end the marriage properly in an extreme case. I know she is in shock, and I know she's blaming everyone but herself. Buyer's remorse is what I'm worried about. What if I accept R, if offered, but months or years later find out I can't do it anymore? I assume I will be responsible for breaking it and blamed for years of her life wasted. What if STBXW will want R, but only as a method of getting back to normal? I can guarantee I'll be angry, pissed, and sarcastic for a while. How long will she cope? My personal definition of a successful R is we both happy. For me, it means our marriage is back to as it was before. I'm not sure how can I feel happy any other way. Day by day, I'm starting to feel marriage back to normal is impossible. Should I engage the fight I can't win? To clarify the citation with STBXW and mother-in-law. STBXW used to take my side in rare conflicts we had and was talking our marriage up. That is what I believe to trigger MIL to hook her up with this guy. Because she has to be right, don't you see? So, I do not think there was a lot of trash telling me, although can't rule it out. Another matter is that I think time-wise it clicked with some sort of issues STBXW might be experiencing at that time, never communicated to me, and the fortress fell. This is my working model, could be wrong. She may be manipulative and trying to maintain BAU or nice her back, either to have her marriage back or lay the foundation for a smooth transition out of the marriage, with or without the sob. Seems like he's lost to her. Equally, she may be totally devastated and badly wanting to reconcile, but does not know how to communicate that, and any stops herself short of any action by saying to herself too late, it's not going to help. One thing I know is that really soon I'm going to stop that existing practice of normalcy as discussed, for better or for worse. I'm not sure yet how, and all your suggestions are noted. However, I'd say one thing, I'm not yet, and may never will be, at least on my own, ready to offer an olive branch, even facing a risk of ending something which could be saved. Please let me know in any way that gets through my skull if this is wrong. An update. The summary is, I have proceeded with breaking this normalcy, or playing house as you call it. At my first attempt to change something relatively minor, tried to do it as a set of steps instead of big bang. I've got complete and utter emotional brain dump, collapse from my STBXW, which included a desperate, for a lack of better word, beg for R, on my terms, a lot of details, and offer for the rest if I need them, and all assurances the sob does not longer exist. So, I took time out to process all of that. This is draining. I have not committed to R, both internally to myself and to STBXW. I have just made a mental note that it seems like I have this option available now, in theory at least. I don't want to copy and paste messages, but my take on it is that he wanted her exactly as a F-buddy. Basically, when she moved out and started being upset, he used exactly these words. She stopped being fun, cutting his emotional crap out. So, you are spot on here. In other words, she moved out, started to realize that this all is not fun anymore, started having second thoughts about him and the whole conundrum, and he brilliantly confirmed her second thoughts by pulling out. I'd like to think my voicemail played a part. I think they deserve each other. I know I'm not making all this crystal clear. I'll try to put an updated end-to-end view later, especially if she tells me all as promised if anyone is interested. My comment: your mother-in-law did all of this because your wife used to complain about you, tell bad things, saying you are not good enough for her and stuff like that. So MIL decided she wants to help and only pushed her a little bit towards the ending. If you ever go for R, your mother-in-law has to from your life, and that is going to be hard. Every time you two have a fight, your wife will bring this and say, you made me throw my mother away. I can't see this working, my friend. The most important thing is that your wife never ended this affair. She was dumped, rejected from OM, so she turned to you as her backup plan, hoping you will take her back and forget about this. She wants to move on like it never happened. She wants a romantic relationship with you, you said. See this, my friend, all she is talking is what she wants. She told you multiple times she no longer speaks with her mother, but she is still living there, right? Then what about OM and no contact with him? She can play you easily on this one, my friend. You see her for a little bit during the day, so there is a lot of opportunity for her. Stay strong, my friend, and take care of yourself and your son. Part 3 ending tomorrow. Sub for the final ending.